Hi, my name is Emily Jenkins. I am a physical education teacher. I previously taught PE and health to 6th and 7th graders. I took a break to raise my two kids, but I'm excited to be returning to the teaching profession. In order to maximize engagement in my classroom, I first focus on relationships. I greet my students every day, I learn their names, I take an interest in the things they're interested in, and I try to foster good relationships between my students. Doing this creates an environment of high trust where I find that my students are much more likely to take risks and try new things. I also maximize the time that my students spend moving. I reduce the amount of time that I spend lecturing or that my students are waiting around in long lines. I put them into small groups so that they have more time to practice the skills that we are working on. I believe that my students will benefit from having me as their teacher because I place a big emphasis on finding a physical activity that each of my students can enjoy and can continue doing throughout their life to promote a healthy lifestyle. For assessments, I use a variety of formative assessments. Some of those include skill checklists done by me or done by a peer, and I like to use self-assessments. An example of a time where that guided my teaching was when we were doing a basketball unit. The students were practicing jogging up and down the court while dribbling the basketball. The next step was to add a defender in their way. At the end of the class, I asked the students for a simple self-assessment of a thumbs up or a thumbs down with how confident they felt in that skill. I thought most students would be ready to move on, but most students actually gave me a thumbs down. I was able to adjust my teaching plan, spend another day or two focusing on the skill that we had previously learned, and at the end, students were much more confident and had a better grasp of the basic mechanics to execute the skill. And they were much more successful when we added in the next step with a defender. As a PE teacher, I know that most students in this school will have my class at one point or another, and it is important to have a variety of adjustments waiting to happen. I like to utilize visual diagrams as much as possible for the skills to make it easy for students to understand what they are to be working on. I have them group themselves based on ability, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, so they can play with people that are about their same skill level for games. I make sure that I have a variety of equipment. So, for example, for volleyball, some students need to start out with a lighter weight ball. I adjust rules as needed, and most importantly, I make sure that my cues are clear and concise so that students have a good understanding of what they are expected to do. Thank you.